at the end of last week, I decided that I am no longer doing meet and greet phone calls, or I don't know, even calls that feel like they're going to be meet and greet phone calls. So when someone says they want to do a meet and greet, the answer's just no. But recently I've been hit up with a bunch of different people reaching out who won't actually say they want to do a meet and greet phone call. They'll disguise it as something else. So I had someone reach out and say they wanted to sponsor the podcast. As soon as I got on, they said that, they'd be interested in sponsoring a few months out, but they just wanted to talk to me. And then they pitched me on being on the Flippening podcast. And that was the podcast they were going to sponsor. But it really felt deceitful, frankly. And, to kind of come in with like, hey, I'd like to sponsor, but then it's 3 months out and we have to figure out what our budget is, yada, yada, yada. That is not cool, people. That is not cool. Please do not do that. Not to me, not to anyone else. You're just wasting time. I also had someone reach out. It was a journalist, and they said they wanted to talk. And when I got on the phone, they said they were exploring different ideas for articles, for something they're going to write about 3 months out. It's always about 3 months out. I don't know why. And they wanted to hear about Nomics. They were like, just tell me more about Nomics. What are you doing? And they were actually a journalist. They seemed legit. But that also was a complete waste of time. And I think there's a lot of people with far too much time on their hands who, when they don't feel like they're making progress, or when they want to create for themselves the illusion that they're making progress on a given day, they just want to talk to people, right? They like to hang out in Telegram groups and talk on communities and debate various things and get on the phone with each other and talk about these things as well. They need a lot of social reinforcement around what they're doing. And I'm getting better for the most part at filtering through these things. One of the keywords I found around people who are likely going to waste my time is that they use the phrase learn more. So it might be a VC who reaches out and says something to the effect of, I like what you're doing. It seems interesting. Let's get on the phone. I'd like to learn more. It's like, what motivation do I have to educate you on our market and what we're doing just so that you can learn more? Like, are you really not going to offer anything of concrete value to me? The same on the sales front. Someone will reach out and try and sell me something, and they'll say, hey, here's what we do. I'd really like to get on the phone. Are you interested in learning more? I don't know what it is about the phrase learn more that is just this huge indicator that there's absolutely going to be no value transferred. So I've started like de-escalating these requests. So if I don't know the person, I'll just ask for an email. Like, on the biz dev front, sometimes people want to talk and explore different ways of working together. And I'll ask them for a one-page proposal. Like, what are you offering? What do you want in return? And what's the exchange of value? What's the timeline? What can I expect out of this? And honestly, I almost never hear anything back in response to these requests. If I know the person a little bit, or there's a little bit of a relationship, I'll ask them to send me like a voice message on Telegram. I really like asynchronous voice meetings. I think there are very few instances that merit a real-time meeting that have these, if the meeting has this sort of meet and greet feel, that it really should happen asynchronously via Telegram voice. If someone's local, often it's really interesting. If someone's local, they often want to meet in person. And I don't know why that is. Like, if someone were far away, they'd be just fine doing a half an hour phone call. But if they're in person, or if they're local, often they want to meet for an hour at a local coffee shop. And again, I'll try and take those to Telegram, like asynchronous voice conversations. But it's something I'm learning how to say no to. It's something that I'm not really understanding as much as I'd like to, like why there is such a desire on the part of so many people to just get on the phone and chat, Anyway, I'm probably coming off as a curmudgeon here, but my de-escalation patterns these days are I go from meet and greet requests to send me an email. If that makes sense, maybe we'll do a half an hour hangout and we'll follow up via Telegram voice chat. By the way, we do a ton of Telegram voice chat here back and forth as a company. There's so many meetings that can be averted with Telegram voice communication, and I'm coming to like it more and more. Another kind of pre-qualification tactic I use is if someone reaches out and they're, like, I don't know, they're like crypto Pee Wee Herman at protonmail.com and they want to get on the phone and talk about our API, and if they might be a good customer, I'll send them to a qualification form where I just ask about like their budget and their timeline and their decision-making process. And that seems to work out pretty well. So I guess to close out here, I want to say that I don't think there's anything wrong or malicious on the parts of these people. If you're listening to this and you and I have had a meet and greet phone call, I'm pretty deliberate about getting on the phone these days, even though there are some sort of sneaky things that have gotten past me recently. So if we have been on the phone recently, that's been intentional and I've wanted to talk to you. So please don't think this is pointed at you. And also, I want to say if you have sent me this kind of request, this isn't an expression of like disdain for you. This is just a desire on my part to be a lot more focused with regards to how I spend my time. And hopefully, we'll find some point of clarity between us and figure out how to move forward. I think in general, the problem with this kind of outreach is that it places kind of the vision burden on me, or there's this belief that if there's an opportunity for value or for sort of mutual realization of value, that if we just get on the phone and eat up 30 minutes of time, that somehow, the value will become apparent. And I think the truth is, for me, and probably for you, that the evolution of the vision around a partnership or an employment situation or a sponsorship, that we're all so busy, and vision bandwidth is pretty scarce on the whole. And you really need to, if you're invested in something happening, you really should evolve that vision before reaching out and before, eating up someone's time in real time, especially if they're busy, and everyone's busy. But I think that's, that burden is on the person who's reaching out. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this update. All right, take care. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening. If you liked this content, please help me out by leaving a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. It provides me with encouragement and it helps other people find the program. Also, if you have a question that you'd like me to answer on the podcast, go to asknomics.com, leave me a question, and I'll do my best to answer it in the next few days. Thanks for listening, and see you tomorrow.